So just like the regular ones, the only difference here is these ones are going to contain polyatomic ions, okay? PAIs, polyatomic ions. Pies. We use the same method. We write the formula for each ion. We make the positive and negative charges balance out, which means they have to equal each other, add up to 0. And then we use the subscripts. Now, this is where it gets tricky. You need to watch out for 8s and ites. 8s and ites will be on the table of polyatomic ions. Okay? So if you see 8, it's not a single element, it is a polyatomic ion. If you see ite, it's not a single element, it is a polyatomic ion. But if you see ide, that tells you it's a single element. Okay? Now there's 2 exceptions. You will find 2 ides on your polyatomic table, and you just need to get familiar with them. And you might already be from grade 9 and 10. And those are hydroxide, which is OH minus, and cyanide, which is CN minus. Okay, so you do need to watch out for those ones. Those are the only 2 polyatomic ions that end in ide. Oh, there's one more, but that's okay. There's hydrogen sulfide as well. So just memorize them. Just memorize that they're polyatomic ions and know to look for them on the polyatomic ion table. Thank you. Now, we sort of did this already a little bit. You need to use brackets around your polyatomic ions. Huh? Yeah. Okay, so you need to use brackets around your polyatomic ions, but not all the time. Do use brackets around a polyatomic ion if you have how many? More than one of that particular polyatomic ion. So if you have MgOH2, it needs to be Mg bracket OH2 and not just MgOH with a 2. This 2 refers to both the O and the H, whereas this 2 only refers to the H, which is a problem, okay? Do not use brackets around a polyatomic ion when you have how many? Only one. Okay, so I don't want to see Na bracket NO3. Did anyone take Science 10 at summer school? Apparently there was some guy teaching it and he didn't know that you weren't supposed to put brackets around it when there was only one. Okay, oh, you're fine. If you had Ms. Wu, you're fine. Okay. No, I was like, no, it was someone in one of my, in my enriched class, actually. They're like, my teacher told me blah, blah, blah. And I'm like, well, he was wrong. But I emailed him and he's not a chemistry teacher. He's just like a biologist or something. So he's fairly new. So he hasn't spent a lot of time getting the ins and outs of chemistry. So yeah, fair enough. Do not use brackets around monatomic ions. You don't want to have Cl in brackets with a 2. That would just be weird. Watch out for the ones that start with hydrogen. You'll find that you have 3 names. So for example, you might have calcium hydrogen carbonate. And people get really confused sometimes. They're like, I have a calcium ion, I have a hydrogen ion, and I have a carbonate ion. And oh my God, what do I do with those three? You should never have three different ions. You should only ever have two ions. So you have calcium, and then the hydrogen carbonate is all one thing, okay? So you're gonna look and say, hydrogen carbonate, oh, it's not even on this list. Oh, yes, it is. It's the very first one. Hydrogen carbonate is HCO3. You would say, okay, I have HCO3 negative. Now that becomes manageable. Yes? Because what we can do then is we can say, I have a 2 plus, and I have a negative 1. So I need to have 2 of these to get a negative 2 charge to balance out the positive 2. And what that means is that my formula is then going to be CaHCO3 2. So just watch out, if it says hydrogen in the middle of the word, you're looking on your table under H for hydrogen carbonate or hydrogen sulfide. Here's a special one, dichromate. Not 2 chromates. It wouldn't even be that. Chromium doesn't form covalent compounds because it's a metal. Dichromate is an ion, and if you look on your table of polyatomic ions, let's go find that. If you look under D for dichromate, there it is. So I don't want to see something like sodium dichromate, NaCrO4 2. Oh, I have sodium and dichromate. No, 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 no. Okay, you would look up the dichromate ion. So if we had sodium dichromate, it's not NaCrO4, which is chromate 2. Okay, we would have Na plus, and we would have Cr2O7 2 minus, which is the chromate ion. It's 2 minus, so we would need 2 sodiums to balance that out, and that would give us Na2Cr2O7. Okay. And I know I've mentioned this before, but I'm going to mention it again. Chlorate. What elements are in that ion? Tell your partner, what elements are in the chlorate ion? Chlorine and oxygen, not carbon and iodine and oxygen. The hint is in the name. You've got chlor, so it's going to be chlorine, not carbon and iodine. And remember, I'm always going to use a font where if it was carbon and iodine, you would be able to see those crossbars. Okay, so if you don't see those crossbars, it's not iodine, it's an L, okay? Do we want more examples of how to do this, or how are we feeling? We're feeling okay? You just want to give some of them a try and see how it goes? All right, and if you're not sure which quiz you're on, you can come and ask me, okay? Yeah. Jacob, yeah, you're on 5. Yeah. You may go to the washroom.